Greetings everyone, this is Jamila from Love Mila. I'm coming again with another pattern review. So this is Simplicity 1064. If I can find it, I'll put it up on the screen as well. This is a faux wrap dress. I made version C, which is a shorter version. I don't think I added length because I didn't have enough fabric. So let me talk about the fabric first. This is a double cotton gauze, double cotton gauze also from Fabric Wholesale Direct. Let me tell you, I pre-washed the fabric as I typically do. However, I did not realize that I put more heat than I intended to on the dryer setting. So it shrunk quite a bit, and I wasn't sure if I had enough fabric to make this garment, but I did. I had to make a few changes, which was fine. It came out okay. Came out as intended, thankfully, but just have to be careful with that washing and drying the fabric to make sure that you have enough for that, but also making sure that those settings are cool or cold. And then after you make the garment, make sure you also take care of the fabric, how you're going to wash the fabric afterwards, so you don't make a whole garment and then put it on a high setting and it shrinks on you and you can't wear it anymore. So you don't want to do that. So really want to be mindful of those things. Anyway, so this is of course white double gauze. When I bought it, I thought that it was more opaque, but when I put it together and put the facing on, as you see, the facings make it more opaque, but then on the side is a bit translucent, which is okay if you have, proper undergarments that you can't see through the dress, or can't really see this difference so much. So that is I like the texture of double gauze, and it's very light for the summer and things like that. This was the second shirt of my end of summer sewing plans, if you saw that, which is still on YouTube. This did not make it to Sedona. However, I still wore it, and it actually just came out of the dryer. Just came out of the wash now, so it's not ironed or anything. The gauze has a texture to it already. You can still iron it though, and the texture will still stay, but this isn't ironed right now. So back to the pattern. This was a very easy make, very straightforward if you're already used to sewing. Darts, facings. I added this belt, which I didn't wear. A major modification that I did do though, however, is, that's the thing with me not having enough fabric. I'm sorry, let's go back. D has a flounce, which is basically a ruffle in the front. I like that ruffle and I wanted it, but I didn't have enough fabric for that, so it just had to be a bit plainer, which is okay. With the wrap dress, so back to the pattern. With the wrap dress, it looked a little low for me, what I'm typically used to wearing. So I did make a major modification for the neck. The V starts actually further out to the sides. It makes a longer opening, which I did not want. So in order to close this in a little bit more, close my chest up a little bit more, I actually modified it using a different pattern piece that had an opening but a tighter opening, and so I just had to draft it basically using another pattern piece as a guide, and I brought this in. However, I still used the same endpoint so that I didn't have to change up the directions per se as much, and it came out nice. And then you just do the same thing for the facing, of course, because the facings need to match the front so that it could fit well. You don't want to change the shoulders or anything. Once you change the shoulders, you have to change the back and the back facing, and that's too much. So all I did was just bring it in and made the angle sharper, basically. And in order to do that, or in order to make that work and not have this opening, I guess I could have had it like this, but when I move around, I still didn't want anything to open, so I just put a little snap here and I hand sewed that on, and it worked out very well. So I really like the way it came out. Even though, like I said, it didn't make it to Sedona in time, I still wore it. It was pretty simple make. So in fact, on it, it says easy to sew. So like I said, if you're in, I wouldn't say beginner, just because it has facings and darts. But if you're good with facings and darts, then it's pretty simple, straightforward pattern. I didn't change any construction instructions. I didn't need to modify anything like that. The only thing I personally modified, like I said, was the neckline, and I drafted that from something else. So I think that's about it. I made a size, oh, the sizing. So I made a size 14. I'm not sure why I made it so large. I think because this is my first wrap dress, I wasn't sure how the bodice was going to fit. And so I erred on the side of caution perhaps and made something a little bit bigger. But once I tried it on, just the bodice part, it did not fit well at all. It was way too loose. And so what I had to do was just take in the sides, and I took in the shoulder seams for about, I think, a half an inch each side. So just brought it in, and now it fits very well. So that means that I could have cut probably a 12, maybe even a 10, but just a 12 was good. It fits very well. It's very comfortable, and that's about it. So again, this is Simplicity 1064. So this was the last make for the summer. It was Simplicity 1108. It was a robe that I wanted to use as a cover-up in Sedona. It was also made from the Everly twill in white from Melanated Fabrics. I thought it came out really good. The construction was pretty simple, very simple in fact. And I used some of the leftover fabric to use as a quick head wrap. The only thing I probably didn't care for was the seam binding in the front opening and the neckband. I hemmed the bottom because I wanted more weight at the bottom, and I made a cuff for the sleeves, and that's pretty much it. Well, that is it, guys, for this sewing review. I hope that you like the makes, and I'm so glad that I was able to finish off these projects. Stay tuned for the next video, which should be my fabric haul for the fall and my fall plans. See you next time. Love, Mila.